Now let's read John chapter 1, verses 14 to 16.
John chapter 1, verses 14 to 16 says, Prophetess, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld it, his glory, the glory as the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he who I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. And of his fullness we all received, and grace for grace."
So verse 16. And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. What does that mean? And grace for grace. And grace for grace. So and his fullness, and of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. So Jesus has opened up to us one level of grace. But that grace is not just that. That grace is for more grace. Grace for grace. So there is levels. One level to one level to one level. That's what we hear, glory to glory. Correct? Level to level to level. So in 2026, we have to go from level to level to level. Amen? Grace to grace to grace. There has to be a growth. Amen? So in 2026, you have to say, I am going to grow. Amen? I'm not going to be stagnant in this level. I'm going to keep growing. Amen? One grace opens it up to the next grace. So when I'm talking about this, sometimes it's hard to be like, what does that mean, right? We understand levels. We understand taking a staircase and going up and up. When we say glory to glory. You know, glory to glory, we can understand it more. And recently I was seeing a video how it was Prophet Shaiju was talking about how there was someone who made a video of him, making fun of him. And I went and watched it. And it was so ridiculous. It was a Christian man who had a little clip of Prophet Shaiju sharing about his encounter with Enoch. And the Christian man is like, that doesn't make sense. And he just closes the door. That was his way of saying, what you're saying makes no sense to me. So let me close the door. That's his little thing. He put clips of things that he doesn't understand, and he closes the door, making it seem like it's so funny that's his whole videos, Instagram videos. And I was like, how ridiculous that is. If if I have taken some spiritual encounter someone had, and I told that to a person in India, a person of Hindu faith, they would have believed it. They would have said, I believe it. Because in their faith, Hinduism, they believe in the mystical. But Christians, when did we become like, okay, the supernatural doesn't exist? When did we become that? Right? In the books of Acts, Paul and Peter fell into trance and had visions. So after Acts, it stopped. Like, that's what they're telling, right? They're like, it stopped. So God is like, oh, let me just tell you what happened then, but it doesn't apply to you guys. You guys can read it, but it doesn't apply to you. Does that make sense to us? I'm like, that doesn't make sense. If it happened then, why can't it apply to us? When did we become a people that can't believe in the supernatural? Right? The only supernatural that we hear about in North America is ghost stories. Right? That's all we hear about. we hear about ghost stories and we believe those things. I mean, that's what I read when I was a kid. It was like ghost stories were like you things that you watch on TV. Oh, the supernatural ghost story. And those are like, oh, wow, that's the supernatural. They make the supernatural what? Scary. Wow. They make it scary that if something happens supernatural, you want to run out of there. Wow. Right? That's why you don't want to go to the basement. Right? So they have made supernatural to be either scary or what? Too crazy. That's what this man is doing. He's taking Prophet Shaiju's encounter and saying, this guy's crazy. How could this happen? So that's, or two, it's, the people looking for ghosts and ghostbusters and all that. When you're like, okay, I'm scared of the supernatural. It's like the devil's tactic is what? Removing the supernatural from our life. Either fear of it, because you're like, if my hair stand on up, there is some ghost in the atmosphere, right? Wow. That's what we've been taught. You're not taught that that's God's presence, right? I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, we're being trained that supernatural is either demonic or craziness. Those are the two things. It's like you can't have experienced the supernatural and still be a normal person in the outside. That's how it's become. And we have to be people that change that. Because there is something in the supernatural that we can tap into. And so when we say grace for grace, and you've heard the term you've heard Prophet Shaiju say, you've heard Prophet Chetan say, you can tap into this grace, right? You can have a taste of this grace. You can partake of this grace. And whoever wondered, how do I do that? It's like, okay, that's a very good term, but like, what does that mean? Right? This is how I'm going to tell you guys. It's a very funny way. So it's a very funny example I'm going to tell you. This just helps you understand. And sometimes a simple understanding takes away like the logical way of overthinking it. When I was a kid, Super Nintendo was a big thing. Okay? So it was like Donkey Kong was on Super Nintendo. That's when it came out, was on Super Nintendo. I won't tell you when. But in Super Nintendo back then, it's like when the first player goes and he wins a level 1 overtaken, unlocked, level 2 unlocked, level 3 unlocked. If the second player goes, those 3 levels are already unlocked. I can, as the second player, I can already go to level 3 and play. I don't have to start at level 1. Okay? That is partaking of the grace. Okay? That's what I said. It is a simple understanding. So all you have to do is be like, wait, they've said I can partake of this grace. If they have had supernatural encounters, and I'm sitting and hearing that, I can partake of that too. Because it's not my striving. It is a grace for grace. Right? And I'm going to be like, God, I want that too. Can I have a taste of level 3? Okay? I'm a level 1 player, but I'm going up to level 3. Amen? So that is grace upon grace. So now you understand when they say you have the grace for it. Amen? Because someone has gone ahead of you and unlocked levels for you already. Amen. Now you have to go confidently. Amen. There is so much in you understanding who you are. Okay? Because There is a false humility we have been taught, right? That Christians have been taught this false humility that we're told to be like. Correct? Yes. What is the false humility, right? I'm just a sinner. Wow. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. Everyone says, I'm just a sinner saved by grace. Yes, level 1. Wow. That's level 1. But now you're level 21. You're not just a sinner saved by grace. Correct? Now you have achieved some things. So stop considering yourself just a sinner saved by grace. Amen? That was you in the past. Now you have to know who you are. Amen? So this year, 2026, the first point is that you're going to be prepared to go after grace for grace. The different levels of grace. You're going to tell the Lord, 2026, I want to keep going up and up and up. Amen? Amen? You're going to tell the Lord, I want to experience things I've never experienced before. Yes. Right? Yes. I want to experience a supernatural God. Yes. Amen. I want to experience him. Amen? Yes. And you're going to say, I know I have the grace for this. It's already unlocked. Yes. I have the grace for visions. I have the grace for dreams. Yes. I have the grace for the supernatural. Let me confidently walk grace for grace. Amen? Amen? So this year, before you go in, put a demand on what you want already. Amen. For the next levels. Amen?